guys, Rick Shaw here. It's Tuesday the 27th of April. We got some rain again this morning. I'm really happy about that. We used our wipers a little bit yesterday. That's the first time I've ever seen or even heard of Goodyear wipers, but I'm glad Honda uses a quality one. They really do a good job on cleaning the window. I always been one to wax the glass though, so it beads off, but in the heavy rain these things are working just fantastic. And I usually clean them, I'll clean them off and get the gook off them on a regular basis, usually at least a couple times a month with a little WD-40 and a clean cotton rag. And but the last set I had, they lasted for 2 years, a little over 2 years, but they got dried and cracked. I have the little tool that I can cut them down, and that's it's a nice little tool. But when they start cracking, they don't lay on the window, and as it gets shorter, it just made it worse. So they had to go. But we had a good trip down there, and there's my beautiful Dolly.
Hello.
And we stopped in S&R and got them muffins. You like your orange muffin?
Yes.
I never seen anyone lick it like an ice cream cone before. That's new. Love you, baby. But yeah, hopefully they'll have all the deficiencies at the house fixed by Thursday. We're just gonna. We had a little bit extra. I wanted to keep some money in my pocket, but we're just going to go ahead down to the bank and get their full amount. I want to go to the house first and make sure these little things are fixed. Could be just an O-ring got pinched or something like that. I just don't understand how a workman can come out to somebody and say it's done and then there's a leak, or how they can put it in a receptacle that won't work. I don't know. The way I come up, I remember one time I was working for a guy. This is when I first started. It was before I worked for my boss for many years, and he was doing like shoddy work. The panel inside the panel was crappy. Stuff in the wall was all twisted and crappy, and I says, man, why don't you neaten that up? He goes, oh, it doesn't matter, it's going to be just covered up. I can't do that. Even what we put in the walls was neat. The panels were just beautiful. They didn't look like spaghetti in there. And that's the way I was taught. And when I see people like that fellow that works like that, I just don't want to be around them. I don't want to work with them. If you're gonna have a craft, they call it your craft, and I say craftsmanship. Do a really good job. I would have never turned over anything, and I started out as a plumber actually. Everything was neat. I worked with a chubby kid named Chippy. And he'd go around and install plumbing. And I'll tell you what, he did the most beautiful job. If you looked at him and you looked at his messy truck, and I was at his house a couple times, and it was just messy. But the work this kid did, younger than me, and just absolutely beautiful. His fittings were all, he'd clean them up when they were done, and I said, yeah, you do a really nice job. And he says, oh yeah, you people are going to see that, and it's got my name on it. And that's how it should be. But here in the Philippines, to have a place ready for turnover with leaks, I mean, anybody could have seen it. Not just a plumber. Somebody else should have said, hey, look here, we got a leak. The guy's coming, let's get this fixed. But no, they present it to me with leak. I mean, visible leaks on the floor. What were they thinking? This is. I'm telling you, if you're going to come here and do a house, I really recommend you do it yourself, or at least you be the general on the job. Watch them like a hawk. I would never have any builder do anything. They try to hide stuff. I actually took over a job years ago. It was an industrial complex. They made plastic BBs, and they had to run them up this thing, and then they ran them through some kind of screen and dropped them down a chilling tower. And they had a bulletin board in the office, And it was all the crappy electrical work that was done that they found and took pictures of, and we got hired to get in there and fix it. And I wound up having a real good relationship with the manager of the place. He was just a super guy. He even started coming in. He goes, "I can't believe the work you guys are doing." And I had guys. I would have guys, if I saw any kind of shoddy work, you go fix that, or you're going to be down the road. End of story. You don't do that. If I ever catch anything like again, fired on the spot. You just don't do that kind of stuff. I could never do it, and I'm just really disheartened with this whole affair, this whole 26-month affair that we've had to deal with these people. And there's so many. Last couple times we've been there, there's been a lot of people came. There's some of the workmen, some of the girls from the office, different people, and you would think that just one of them would have said, "Hey, look in here, it's leaking." That's what I would think. I mean, I've been on jobs before where I've seen something that was wrong, or may have been with the plumbing or something, and I'll let them know. Hey guys, look at this. Look what happened here. Help them out. Help them to do a good job, and it's just what you do. You're all working on the same team. I worked for a fellow one time. He used to get in arguments with the other tradespeople, and I didn't stay. I got out of there because morning. You don't do that. I got along with every other trade there was, all of them. Even when I was in California with the Mexicans doing the drywall and all that, some of them are hotheads and they do crappy things and stuff. But by butting heads with them, you're not going to get ahead. It's not going to help you out at all. So smooth them over, and in the end, they wind up saying, "Hey, that gringo, he's not such a bad guy," and then they don't. Their bosses don't allow them to cover stuff up and do stupid things to us. But arguing with them is just going to cause you grief. I worked for the one fella. He really got in a hard time with the plumber. So it was about 6 months after there was some plugs. It was in this little strip mall, and it had like a hallway in the back. And all the little stores, they were little tiny garage area type stores in this little strip mall. But you could walk out the back into this hall, and there was a lunch room, there was a kitchen, and all this stuff. Well, the plugs in the kitchen, the first one worked, but the second one didn't work. And it was Romex. We didn't have to put anything on that job in the metal clad or anything. So I went ahead and I thought I couldn't get the wire pulled out. I told him, "Look, I'm going to have to cut in between these boxes." And I remember putting it in where it was. I always put everything at the same height so I don't have to remember anything. It's always at the same height in these things. And we cut a strip of the wall out right where the wire was, and the plumber had taken a torch and burnt all the insulation off of the wire, separated them so they wouldn't arc together. But what happens is when you heat copper like that, after so long, it just finally breaks, and that's exactly what happened. So we had to pull the wire from the first plug, re-pull it. Now that's because the guy who was running that was argumentative with the plumber, and the plumber got us back, basically. He got us back. So, you don't want to do that. And I hate that, I talked to this girl at the place, and she says, "Oh, you say all these bad things about the company," but I don't know what else to say. Where's the pride in workmanship? I don't really know the whole company. I know her. I actually know two girls down there that I talk to on a regular basis. They are the company to me. So, it just, I'm scratching my head, guys. I'm serious. I'm just scratching my head that they would go to release something like this. I hope they get it all straightened out. We're going to go back down there Thursday and give them the last of it, check everything out again. But I'm not understanding that panel, how the way the panels are. There's a row on top and a row on the bottom. and there's the main, and then the next one's the fridge plug. And that came up in just one Smurf tube. Well, then way on the other side of the panel, down on the bottom, was the other circuit I turned on before I got 220 in the fridge. Now, how did he get that wire from way over there into that breaker? I'm just not understanding, you know. And I had looked at it with the cover off before all the breakers were in. Just it was all sitting there ready, and I thought, okay, that doesn't look too bad. You know, it's not the kind of work I'd have done, but it is what it is. I thought, okay, that's enough. But how he got that wire from one end to the other, you know, you just don't do that. And you know, he just must have had one hole and one wire, so he just hooked it up and said, oh, this will work. And it'll work. But I don't think it'll trip the breaker. You know, you can't put a one circuit on two breakers. Everything tested out at 230 except that one plug. Consistently through the house. The other thing I really hate here, what they do in the Philippines, if you got a light switch off and you go up to the light, it's still hot. It's not hot enough to turn the light on, but you've got power up there with one leg, and they only break one. They don't have any double pull, double throw switches here, like how it should be. But what they do is they run the power to the light, and it's a nightmare. Whenever you run power to the light, you know, everything should be down at the switch so you can work on your feet instead of working above your head. The way they do electrical here, I would never do it. My neighbor across the street, this one over here, he's an electronics guy. He repulled his entire house. He just was so unhappy with the electrical in it. And I'm probably going to wind up doing the same thing. Because I do believe there's going to be something hidden in the wall that it's not going to reveal itself. The warranty that they gave us was 6 months on the plumbing and the electric, and then the structure is 1 year. Now, if we hang an awning, boom, warranty's voided. Doesn't matter if I put an awning in the back and I get a big crack in the concrete out front. It's voided. So in order to even put an awning up, we got to wait a year. So I'm just going to buy a little umbrella type thing for the washer in the back. And but this is what you get. If we get down to Mindoro and decide to do a house, I'm going to do it myself. I'll get somebody to come out and lay the block. They have these blocks here where my buddy Ronald works that has the channels in there for the piping and everything, and I think I would use like a PVC pipe, something like that, schedule 40, and run it right in. They actually have blocks that have the cutout for the receptacles already. There's a molded in piece that you can just stick the box to and the covers. So, you know, I'll probably go with something like that. I had somebody comment, you know, you know better than all these people. Well, I'll tell you what. Yes, I do. Looking at what we're getting for what we paid, I think it could be done a lot better. I think it could be done much better than they did. Just the fact underneath the kitchen sink, instead of the things being screwed on, they stuck glue and bonded everything. Where they ran the drain into like a 2.5 inch pipe, and it's just a 2 inch going in there. They just put like what we used to call dynamite. They just crammed that full. So what happens? Is that going to corrode, make the pipe crack? Is that going to crack and start leaking down the road? I would look at something like that and say, yeah, when you put these connectors on, there's no need for any kind of a sealant. You just put them on, they seal themselves. If they're leaking, you don't put a seal on it to fix it, you just install it properly. But this is what you're going to get here. When we get moved in, I'll take the camera around and show you a lot of this stuff. I just didn't even feel like getting the camera out yesterday. I was just disheartened immediately. I went in with my tester and started testing electric, and the first plug I went to was the fridge, and right off the bat I got one that's not working. And then when I was looking, then I went into the bathroom, I'm looking at the water leaks thinking, gosh, so I was just really, really disheartened. when I got there. So sorry for bitching and whining so much, but when you think when you pay something, they should turn it over to you just fixed, ready to go, and nice. Not where I got to come in and say, look at this, look at that. What's this? Why wasn't there somebody there that said, look at this to the guys before I ever showed up? Why am I the one that has to do it? It's what you're going to get here. But who knows? Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. We lost all of our signal here. Smart, they put new towers up, but we lost every bit of the signal here at the house at all. And I got maybe over by the water tower 1 bar. So I don't think I'll be able to upload it unless I jump in the car and take off again. One nice thing is when we get down to Batangas that it's going to be the signal was just so fantastic yesterday. If I would have made a video yesterday, I could have went ahead and uploaded it in just a matter of a few minutes. We had just the best signal when I was over there. So they have a smart tower that we can see out the one window, but I'm looking forward to getting up, getting some lights up and getting that place straightened around, getting some furniture in it. We saw some nice furniture. I'm going to keep looking. We decided on a smaller TV. We're really stoked about getting in there, and I just want to get this ordeal with these people over, and and then I just never want to even think about them again. It's just the way I feel about it. But you come here, buy a house that's already built. Just know that your plumbing and electrical is going to be, compared to the West, it's just not going to be the same. It's not going to be what you're used to seeing. So it's just what you're going to get. It's a shame, but it's what you're going to get. So don't forget to pray for each other. And this is Rick Shaw.